Yo, what's up, guys? Okay, got my new trigger in, and we're gonna swap this out. Boy, she's sharp too, isn't that nice? Nice oblong part on the skeletonized. Nice size shoe on it. This is a long trigger. Now I've already gone ahead and prepared it. I've filed the flat on the back for the relief flat, polished up the sides, and I've got it already fitted to the frame, so I don't have to worry about taking up time for that. And but I had a request. Excuse me. I had a request from a customer, moron, a subscriber, not a customer, and he wanted me to do a video on changing his trigger out and adjusting it. And so I told him I would. It's G. I don't want to mess it up, but G Whistle 1. I will link to him down here. But one thing, guys, remember, I don't know, in case some of you don't know, when they say adjustable trigger, they're talking about this screw that's back here, and this basically adjusts for the overpull and how fast the trigger reset is. It does not adjust for creep. When you take the creep out of a trigger, that's done back within some of the parts in the frame itself. So we're adjusting basically the overpull to make it basically, when the hammer falls, the trigger stops. Makes it real crisp. So that's what we're going to do. Now this is not the original trigger that I ordered. No, the one I ordered was a Combat Wilson, or excuse me, Wilson Combat. Why do I keep getting those backwards? Because I'm a moron. But it was a Wilson Combat, and after I'd ordered it, a lady from Midway called me and said, "Sir, we're sorry, we're out of stock on that one." And the reason she called me is because it showed they were in stock on the website when I placed the order. So I thought it was real cool that they went ahead and called me, but that allowed me to, she allowed me to go ahead and switch my order, so I upped it to this one. This is one by Nighthawk Customs, and it's a sweet trigger too. It's about the same price, a few dollars more, but not much, but it's a sweet trigger too. So that's what we're gonna put in. And anyway, so we're gonna tear this thing down. I wanna make sure it's safe, nothing in it. It's all clear. First thing we got to do is take off the grips. Now I know a lot of you guys have seen this 100 times, so just bear with me on this, and hopefully I can get all of this done in one vid. If not, we'll do a second part to it. The grip screws out, set it aside. This is this cool 3-piece grip set that Pete sent to me. I love these grips. Good friend of mine, Joshua Price, 357, ordered him a set. He liked them so much. He was going to get a different set, but he liked these so much he ordered him some. And told him he could do a lot worse. Alright. Okay, grips are off. Okay. Next thing we'll do is remove the slide. Now I'm not going to worry about taking off the doing a complete disassembly on the slide itself. We're just basically going to take it off the frame. We're going to leave the barrel and the spring and the guide rod in it. Okay. First thing you got to do when you get this out is take this punch out. Now, this sometimes can be a pain in the butt. Put it over a small screwdriver, use a proper size punch, and just knock it out or get it started. Okay, from here I usually grab it right here with my thumb to keep pressure on it and push the other one. Okay, and then at that point the main spring housing comes out. I'm not going to take the main spring out. If you want to take that out, you would compress it and remove this pin here. We're not going to go that route, but we are going to get our pin back, so we'll keep it in order. And from here, the next thing you're going to do is take off the grip safety, or excuse me, the safety itself. It just pulls right off, and that does also remove the grip safety. Lets it come out. It's going to make a liar out of me. Work it around. There it is. Okay, and go ahead and pop out the springs. Turn it over, remove the hammer pin, falls right out. and the sear and disconnect pin. It comes right out. Sear and disconnect, come out. And the last thing to take out is the safety, or is the magazine release. And then the trigger pops out the back. Okay. Okay guys, back. Sorry about that, nature calls. Okay, now we're going to get it back together. Sometimes this can be kind of a pain in the butt, so hopefully we'll get lucky and everything goes together fine. Now, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to put just a little bit of grease on the side of the new trigger. Not much, just a little bit. And it doesn't take much of this milk on, some good stuff. And there's other greases out there that are good too. I just happen to like this. Okay, and from here we just drop it straight in. Hopefully it drops straight in. And there it is. Rides nice and smooth. Magazine release is next. And make sure it works good. It does, and it stops. Now right now guys, we do have a full pull on this because we have not adjusted it. Okay, so we'll do that once we get the rest of it back together. Went ahead and put the safety spring and the slide stop spring back in. So the next thing we want to do from here is put the sear and the disconnect in. Now this right here sometimes guys can be a pain in the butt, and since I'm doing this on camera it probably will. But I have found that the easiest way to do this is when you get the two pieces together, kind of hold the frame on the side and then basically guide the disconnect through the hole. Alright, and then push it back down just a little bit to keep it on top of on the back of the trigger. And we take the sear pin and look at there, right together. Boy, that's a first. And you can see it rides right on the trigger, and so we're good to go at this point. Alright, next thing we're going to do is the hammer. The hammer goes in along with the hammer pin. Pretty self-explanatory. Pull the tail up out of the way. Then we're going to go ahead and put the main spring in, and it basically also is very self-explanatory on how it goes together. If I can get the slide up in there correctly, we'll be in good shape. Alright, and then the main spring, the back strap with the main spring housing, I just push it up just enough to hold the spring. Okay, pull the hammer back and get the tail just in the beginning of it. Alright, does need to be in the cocked position here for this part guys, because if it's not, you'll never get it back together. And I've tried it 100 times, believe me. Or maybe you can get lucky, but I never could. The next thing we're going to do is the grip safety, and it just drops in and it's held with the safety itself. Get it started, and then take a small screwdriver. I take the small screwdriver, compress the pin, push the safety right in. Make sure that it works. Not pulling. Now, naturally we don't have it all the way up, but it seems to be working. Now what I like to do here next, guys, is you take, since the main spring housing is going to be under tension, it's kind of hard to hold with your hand. Push it down, take your pin, get it ready, push it down on a table, start the spring in. Take your small mallet, either with a piece of mylar or hard rubber, and just pop it back in. Now you can do a function test. Okay, you do not want to do what I just did. You do not want to do that first. Do not do that. That was a fucking major mistake, guys. Definitely want to make sure that your safety works, but do not do what I just did. You do not want this to go home on bare metal. That was a major fuck up. But we're real here, so I'm going to leave it in. Put your slide back on. back. Don't want to get the stupid mark. Start it. Push it in. And here we want to do our safety check. Safety's on. Trigger will not pull. Safety's on. Grip safety is depressed. Trigger will not pull. Safety down. Trigger pulls. No grip safety on. Trigger does not pull. Do a function check here to make sure it doesn't go into full auto. Release. All right, about good to go. Now, here's how I adjust this trigger, guys, for the adjustable overpull. When you get to a point, and you're going to pull very, very slowly, just a little bit. So that had a little bit more overflow than I wanted, so we're going to take and we're going to screw it in just a little bit, and this can take a little bit of time. You just want to take your time with it. Now some people like to do this where they have it out where it will not, where it won't pull in at all, and then they start releasing it off some. I go the opposite direction. Pretty crisp. Needs a little bit more though. You just basically, guys, you keep moving it, or you keep messing with it, keep turning it in. And I usually go about 2 or 3 turns with the Allen wrench. It's kind of hard to do on camera. A little bit more and I think we're set. Now what a lot of guys will do is they will put a little bit of blue Loctite on it, and you definitely want to use the blue if you do that, because if you use red you may not get it back. That's just about right. That feels good. Nice and crisp. There we are. That is a crisp trigger. And that's the way you adjust it, man. There's not a lot to it. It's a little time consuming, but you just kind of have to move it up until you get it together. From here, we're going to put the grips back on. Love these grips. Thank you, Pete, for sending these to me. These are awesome grips. I do not use this little screwdriver to tighten them down, but I do use it to get a lot of the main turns out of it, because it's easier to hold in my hand. The other side. And these grips just feel great. A good buddy of mine, Joshua Price 357, I may have already mentioned this. He ordered him a set because he loves them. And Pete's brother's got a channel. I subbed to him. I'll put a link down here, but go over and check his channel out. And you don't want to put a lot of torque on these screws. I use fingers. Fingertip strength when I do it. You don't want to strip out the grip screws. And there it is. Good to go, guys. And that's it. That's changing out and adjusting the trigger. Let me know what you guys think. And that's all I got for now.